temperatures here in Illinois are ever so slowly inching their way towards fall, and I'm here for it, as evident by my outfit today. We are going to just will it to be a little bit cooler and feel more like fall. Another way to do that is to decorate your home with some fun and affordable DIYs. So today we are breaking out our cutting machines, and I am sharing a ton of free files, inspiration, and a ton of my secrets to finding the most affordable blanks to make your home look amazing on a budget. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney, and a huge welcome back to my whiskey craft buddies who are here each week to DIY with me. I am so thankful for you guys, and if that sounds like fun and you have a little FOMO, no worries, you can join us. There's room for everyone. Just hit subscribe down below so you won't miss a future video. These can be done on so many different machines, and all these files are free from me. I will have them linked over on my blog. You can also scan this QR code right away to head over to the blog if you're watching this on TV so that you can download my files. You just head to the page, scroll down, and it's gonna say Whiskey Downloads, and we're gonna start by making this really fun sign that says things are a little batty around here. Who can relate? So for this wood sign, you're gonna need a wood canvas blank. These are from Dollar Tree and a little bit larger, but I wanted this size, so I grabbed this one from Dollar General. Dollar General has a lot of great blanks. I was sleeping on them, but if you've got a Dollar General near you, I would check them because I have better luck sometimes than Dollar Tree. So I'm going to stain it in an early American stain and then paint just the inside to create that faux wood border. You don't have to do any extra work. You just have that beautiful stained border. And I decided to just do a stain underneath. You could probably forego the stain since you're going to paint over the top of it, but usually it's quicker for me to just stain the whole thing instead of leaving out any areas. I ended up needing to do 3 coats of the paint, but I carefully went around the outside not to get it on anything. And then I measured to see what size my decal needed to be. I decided 5 inches across was going to give me some breathing room. So I ended up cutting this out on some permanent vinyl. And a tip to get these little letters to cut like this is to use the iron-on setting. What it's going to do is cut a little bit deeper into the vinyl, and it's going to help you with weeding. Another tip to help is to trim off the excess vinyl as you're weeding these more intricate things, because it's going to make it easier to work with. Nobody wants that huge ball of excess vinyl sticking to the decal you want to keep, and I've done it way too many times, so that is how I get around that. Now I'm going to use some paper transfer tape here. If you're not new to me, you're not new to hearing this, but you can scan this QR code in the top left. This is by far and away my top seller on my Amazon storefront is this paper transfer tape because it's magic. It's not going to rip up that paper, and it's tacky enough to pick up your vinyl. Once it's applied, you are good to go. No need to seal it if it's going to be inside your house because it's permanent vinyl. I absolutely love this, and the sentiment cracks me up every time I see it. Throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about some suggestions I got from you guys, the craft buddies. I asked on my Instagram as well as through the email craft buddies to let me know some of the files and themes I should do for this video. So I got a lot of requests for acorns to be incorporated. So I grabbed this Dollar Tree sign, I stained it with early American, I cut this decal again, which will be free over on my blog, to 6 inches wide and applied it right onto the stained wood. It looks beautiful with the white, and this is the font September. It is a paid font, but I decided to pay for it, and I've been putting it on everything. But don't worry, you don't have to pay for the font. I have the file for you. I finished it off just by tying the top with a little bit of jute twine. Super simple, but beautiful and great for any vignette. I've been so patiently waiting for the Dollar Tree Plus sections to hit some of my stores because I think they have a really good variety of blanks that are bigger than what you can find for $1.25. One being this huge chalkboard. Today we're gonna make it over. It's only $5 and you can make a beautiful autumn sign quick and easy with my cut files. Let's go. So step 1 is to make that outside look a little bit more rustic. So I'm gonna use a baby wipe and some antique wax just to darken the wood. So to get this file ready for the sign, it is so easy. You're gonna go to upload and you're gonna upload the file. Now I already made it, so it's in my system already, and you're gonna add it to your canvas. Now I wanna make sure that this is going to fit on my larger mat. So I'm gonna do 11.5 inches for the height, and the width is gonna give me about 13.8 to fit across the sign. I don't need it to cover the whole chalkboard. And then what we're gonna do is hit attach down here. If you don't hit attach, what's gonna happen, and your letters are going to be all jumbled everywhere. So instead, you want to make sure that you select the entire thing, click attach, and then when you go to make it,
you are going to be able to keep it all intact, and it's going to fit where it needs to fit perfectly on my 12 by 20 format. I'm popping in my white permanent vinyl, which is Oracle 651, cut it out, and then it is time to weed it. Now, all of my supplies will be linked down in the description for you, so if you see something I am using today you would like to check out, you can definitely head over and check that out. I also have a full list over on my Amazon storefront of Cricut blanks, Cricut tools, all the things that I've tried and tested and love, so you can get it for your craft room too. This is clear transfer tape, and next to the paper, this is my second most used. I like it because it is great for surfaces like this chalkboard that you don't need to be super careful with, but it's also not as sticky as Cricut transfer tape, which usually is the bane of my existence. It's just too sticky, and it just causes a lot of issues for me, so instead I use the paper and this most often. I applied it to the bottom of the chalkboard, and you'll see why in a minute because I'm going to add some embellishments up on the top. Now be careful, just because this isn't a seasoned chalkboard, it took me a little bit of extra oomph to get it to stick, but once I did, it stuck so perfect, and I love the sentiment. Now, I would have bet you $1.5 million that I had a pack of Dollar Tree create your own ornaments of leaves, the wood pieces, so I could use them for this sign. I buy so many things and I get home and realize I already had it. Well, this time I actually didn't have them. So I had to pivot, and I used my X-Tool laser. This is the first time I've done something like this, and it worked out really well. So if you have a laser and want to create these specific shapes, I will have these over in the folder as well, but you could easily just use the Dollar Tree leaves. You don't have to have a laser to do this. This was just me getting creative because I actually didn't have what I thought I had, which I'm sure you could probably relate. Once they were dry from the baby wipe and antique wax treatment that I gave the outside of the sign just so it all matched, I added them to the chalkboard with some hot glue, and I made sure to lay them out where I wanted them before I glued them down because I've done that before and wanted to move them when they're already glued down. I love this sign. This looks like something you would get at Kirkland's or spend a ton of money on from Etsy. If you end up getting the leaves from Dollar Tree, it's literally $7 worth of supplies, $5 and then $1.25 plus tax, give or take. But this looks so good in my dining room, and I love this so, so much. Another request that came through from the craft buddies was to do some Pastel Halloween. So I saw these 24-inch stacking pumpkins in the Dollar Tree Plus section, and I grabbed some fun pastel colors and color shot spray paint. I've been hearing so many things about this paint that people love it. I saw it all over Instagram, and honestly, I love the color, but I think I'm going to stick with Rust-Oleum moving forward because that color shot had a very strong odor. Let me know if you use it. The odor was a lot. I was feeling lightheaded, so definitely use it in a well-ventilated area, which I was, but you know, that's my story and just FYI. Then I cut out these fun little bat shapes on my Cricut. It's super quick and easy if you do have a Cricut because I have the shape saved in Design Space, but you could get a clip art piece off of Google, wherever you can find bats. Just cut them out on some cardstock, black construction paper, whatever you have. I used little circles of tape, put them on the back, bent the wings up, and stuck them kind of cascading around my pumpkins. This is so fun. I have not done Pastel Halloween like at all, but I ended up doing it because I got a request and I love this vibe. I also took a Dollar Tree pumpkin. This was $3, spray painted it pink, and it went super great with my fun little DIY Gus the Ghost on this chair. I will link that DIY for you as well.
If you are loving this workshop, I have got some great news for you. I am back for the Holiday Cricut Craft Fest as a speaker. I am so excited for my class. It is going to go live on Tuesday, October 3rd, which is the second day of the Craft Fest, and I'm going to walk you through slowly, step by step, how to make a stencil and customize this wood tray to make it either a Christmas version or a Halloween version, whichever one you want to do. Projects in the Craft Fest range from fall and Halloween to winter, Christmas, and beyond. So there is going to be a project for everyone. There's everything from paper crafts to wood crafts to vinyl to rhinestoning things to resin. So many different options. You've got to check out the speaker list to see the full gamut of what is available. All you have to do is scan this QR code on the screen and you can get registered for your free ticket, or you can head down to the link in the description and it will take you to the same spot. Now, if the thought of cramming 50 plus workshops into your work week sounds like a lot, trust me, I would feel the same way. So they do offer a VIP access pass, which is a premium upgrade, But once you grab that, you can watch everything instantly, so you don't have to wait until the week of the event. You can watch at your own pace, and you'll get lifetime access to all of the videos, all of the templates, and you'll also get over $500 of freebies with that. So if you're interested in that VIP upgrade, just grab your free ticket. Again, the QR code is on the screen, and then they will send you information on getting that VIP upgrade. And I'm gonna draw that winner after the Craft Fest is over on Monday, October 9th. I hope to see you there. If you're looking to add a little personality into your fall decor, grab one of these craft pumpkins, and I'm gonna show you how you can customize it either for your last name or just the season in general.
Pumpkins like these are a dime a dozen at stores. You can find them pretty much anywhere in my experience. This is what I saw recently at my Walmart. There's also some at Dollar Tree. You can also get them at Hobby Lobby. That's where I ended up getting my larger ones. The reason I did that is because these look like more realistic pumpkins, but they also are flatter, which is a lot easier to apply your vinyl. So step one is always measure. Any project, always measure, because I feel like that's what gives the most people the headaches, because you think, oh, it's about 5 inches, and it's definitely not 5 inches. So let's start by creating a custom name. So you're going to start in your design software. I'm in Design Space because I have a Cricut, and you're just going to add some text. So let's say that we're making this for a gift for a friend. We're going to do the Johnson family. And I'm actually going to make this 3 different elements, because if I have just the one, it makes it harder to design. So you can either do duplicate here by right clicking, or you can go up here and duplicate. Then you're going to pick a font that you like. The one that I've been really liking lately is one that I downloaded called Sunkissed. It's a nice like hand lettered font, so we're going to go with that. Then I'm just going to play around with the size and kind of fit the around, so we kind of have it stacked in. I like to take the tops and the bottoms and kind of fit them together like a puzzle piece. It just looks a little bit more intentional. Then we're going to select both of these and we're going to attach them so they cut together, and then we're going to size them to the pumpkin width that you measured. So whatever the width of your pumpkin is, for this example, let's just say we want it to be 8. So we're going to double click up here. It's going to make it 8 inches wide. Here we go. And the other thing you can do is you can also, detach and move it around. Once it's big, you might think, okay, I like this a little bit better. So we'll attach this and voila. So then all you have to do is cut this out on the vinyl that you want to apply to your pumpkin. And then I'm going to show you some tricks to get it to not bubble. Now I'm going to cut on some smart material just because I had this in my craft room and I wanted to use it up, but you could easily put it on the mat and cut that way as well. It's whatever you have on hand. Now with Cricut, you have to have the Cricut smart material. You can't just cut anything matless. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the matless cutting option. If you want to use that feature, as of today, you have to buy the Cricut vinyl in order to use that feature. So if you buy a lot of like tech wrap or HTV wrap, whatever, keep that in mind if you're looking to upgrade. So once that was done, I chopped it up and I got to weeding. I like to remove the little innards before I do the outside, but it's personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just whatever is the least stressful for you. I know some people think it is super zen. Other people hate weeding. So it's just wherever you fall. Then I am going to add my clear transfer tape from Expressions Vinyl. And then I'm going to do this fun trick to get it onto my pumpkin. I'm going to find the flattest surface that I can, which is kind of funny because it's a pumpkin and it has a lot of grooves. But I'm going to start by pressing down the and the S. Then I'm going to start creating little slits in my transfer tape to allow for some give, so that way I'm not going to have a ton of bubbling in my last name. I worked from the S all the way to the other S, and then I worked my way back. And if you have any pieces that you need to pop up again, it is pretty forgiving, this vinyl, so you're able to do this before everything sets, and it makes it look like you wrote on it with a marker. Now, I don't know about you, but my handwriting is definitely not that good, and so using the Cricut to hack that look is definitely awesome. This would make a fabulous addition to your overall fall decor. You could also put it on your porch. I would definitely seal the front with Mod Podge if you want it to be outside in the elements, but it looks so cute with this little pumpkin patch sign, and this would be an amazing hostess gift to take to any fall function. Now, what if you want more of a saying rather than a last name? Well, I've got you covered there too. This is inspired by a pumpkin that I got at Target last year, and they sold out so fast. They were $3 in the dollar spot, and I looked this morning to see, and it was actually like going for 15 bucks on Mercari, which is crazy. So we're gonna make our own. I did this Binks, Allison, Danny, and Max as well, and the trick with this one, because it is more linear, I applied Binks without anything else touching the pumpkin. then I applied Allison, then I applied Danny, and then I applied Max, and it allowed me to get everything where it needed to go and pull it taut as I went through. The pumpkin on the left is also a Walmart one, and so you could do this in a variety of different sizes. You can do a variety of different names, do whatever floats your boat, but these are so quick and easy to customize, and if you bought these, they would go for so much more expensive, so why not DIY your own? Another common theme in my inbox was some football DIYs. Now, while I do not have a need for any Philadelphia Eagles items, I'm going to show you how you can customize any of these non-bears and make them whatever you want. So you're going to find either your collegiate or NFL or whatever team of choice. I'm just using Tennessee Volunteers here just because it's a simple example. You're going to save the image from Google Images and you're going to go to PNG to SVG.com. You can upload it and decide how many colors there are. This one's simple, like I said, so there's only 2. Then when you generate it and download it, you can upload it right into your design software and it's going to be separated into the 2 colors. Now what I'm going to do is remove the white layer and add my own offset. It just looks a lot better in my opinion. You can click that by doing offset at the top and then change the colors, the size, the whole thing, and then you're ready to cut it out and apply it to the 50-yard line. Now, if you wanted to do an NFL team that's a little bit more intense, like the Eagles here, you'll get 4 colors, but I would just get rid of the 2 colors and then you can do a 2-color logo. Keep it simple. You don't have to have all the colors. It will save your sanity. We're going to upload the SVG that I have over on my blog. And if you want to do the Bears one, perfect. You are all set to go. If you want to change the names on either side, you can go ahead and hit ungroup up here, and that's going to make them all individual pieces. Now you can go ahead and get rid of the Bears elements. So I'm just clicking and hitting delete. You can also get rid of the elements on either end zone. And then all you have to do is click these squares, rectangles actually, and you can change them to whatever color. So say you want red, say you want whatever your team is, you can change it to that color vinyl that you want to cut out. Then you can just type out in whatever font and have it fit to your end zone. So then that way you are good to go. And then you can also use the file that I just showed you how to create to add that to your 50-yard line. Then it's as simple as making sure, like I said, everything is attached and then add your colors. I like to get a multi-pack from Amazon that gives me a bunch of different colors like this instead of needing so many different rolls of vinyl. And you want to make perfectly clear that when you cut it, it is mirrored because we're going to apply this to the bottom of the tray. Now everything else is pretty straightforward as far as weeding, but for the lines on the football field, I did the 2 ends and then I decided to reverse weed the actual lines. And to do that, I just removed the items in the end zones and then I put my transfer tape right over the top of it, flipped it over, removed the carrier sheet, and then removed the innards of the lines just like you would with heat transfer vinyl. That made it a lot easier and I didn't have to worry about my numbers removing from the yard lines. Once that was all done, it was time to layer, so I started by layering my bear's head and put that right in the center of my tray. This is an acrylic tray I got from Amazon, which I will link for you, and I am using some parchment paper to help me line this up. You want to make sure that it is lined up. My tray isn't exactly a match for the setup, so there's going to be some clear at the top and the bottom. Once I got that where I wanted it, I applied that, followed by the 2 end zones, which you can manually line up or apply with transfer tape. And then my last step was to add the green to the back to the field. So it looks really intense, but I promise you it's pretty straightforward and you're just going to want to make sure everything gets pushed down. I love how this turned out and I hope to see a ton of these on your game day spreads. If you make it, be sure to tag me. Now, what is a game day without a fun beverage? That is what we're going to do next. We're going to customize some fun cups. I grabbed these stemless wine glasses from Walmart and I really love the shape. They're super modern, and what I really like about etching is that it is dishwasher safe. So after you have been watching football all day, you don't have to worry about hand washing your fancy cups as well. You can just pop them in the dishwasher. What I'm going to do is cut out some files that I, again, will share with you. These are Bears themed, but I also have one specifically for that craft buddy that asked for Philadelphia Eagles. So one that I will share that says Sunday is for the birds. I made Sunday is for the Bears as well as bear down. I cut them out about 4 inches wide and cut them out on just some scrap permanent vinyl to make my stencil. Then we're going to weed them backwards. So we're going to get rid of the areas where we want the etching to be. I also decided to make some Halloween ones because I thought those would be fun as well, and I didn't need 4 cups because it's just Alex and I at our house. Then I'm taking my clear transfer tape, applying it right to the cup, and you can use the slip method like we did with the pumpkins if you need help getting rid of any of the bubbles as you're applying it to your cup. I have found that these glasses, because they're more cylindrical than round like a typical stemless wine glass, they don't bubble as much, but this is a way that you can do that. Just make sure you don't cut into the lines where you want your stencil to be. Then before applying our etching cream, we're going to add some painter's tape just around the edges just to make sure nothing overflows on us. And then with gloves on, I am applying a liberal coat of this Armour Etch etching cream with a regular paintbrush. I like to let it sit for 15 minutes, and I like to go in maybe 1 or 2 times during that 15 minutes and push around the etching cream just to make sure that it is sitting correctly. After 15 minutes, I take it down to our sink in our laundry room, leaving my gloves on. I wash it off. I take off the painter's tape and the vinyl after I get all the etching cream off, and then these are good to go. Now make sure you wash them with soap and water after you get the etching cream off, but I love, again, they're dishwasher safe. They look so good with the tray, and this will be awesome for all of the football fall Sundays coming up. Another idea is to do this if you're not in the US. If you are a soccer fan or football in the UK, you could do that with your teams as well. Rugby, baseball, really anything, any logo, any design really will go on these. This year for Halloween, I really wanted to create a wall scroll like this, and I am so happy with how it turned out. This is made with Dollar Tree craft paper that you can find super inexpensively, and we're going to start by measuring and cutting down the roll because it was far too wide for what I needed. I ended up cutting this dowel rod from my garage down to 24 inches, and then I ended up cutting this roughly about 21 inches to give myself some space on either side. I'm just cutting directly through with these tin snips with the plastic on because it kept everything together while I was measuring and working on it. I also had some scrap lumber in my garage, so this is just a 1x2 that I am faux staining with some black paint and a baby wipe. You just rub it on and you're still going to see that pretty wood texture. And then I also did the wax faux stain effect on the 2 ends of both of these. Now you're wondering why I have 2 sets. I decided to make a fall and a Halloween one, so you'll see the fall one shortly. Now I ended up cutting these 2 free cut files to the approximate width of the design, and these are SVGs, so you can cut them in sections. Just make sure that you are attaching things that will fit onto your mat versus attaching the whole thing together, and it will be really easy to cut out. I ended up having to do the Halloween one in 3 chunks, so the top 3 lines, the bottom 3 lines, and then the middle line. And then this one, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers, which is the fall one, was able to be cut in one swoop. Once those are weeded, easy peasy, it is now time to assemble. And so I got everything together, and then it was time to take the plastic off of my craft paper rolls. I needed to unravel it a little bit so that my dowel rod would fit through the center, and you can see now why I didn't need to stain the entire thing. I was just able to do the ends that are going to pop out. Once I was able to mess with it enough to be able to get that dowel rod to fit in the center, then it was time to pull it open and kind of lay out where I wanted everything. Now with this, I would definitely recommend either using a paper transfer tape or some sort of painter's tape to apply this, because if not, you're going to rip up this paper, but the paper transfer tape did an amazing job. I have the 6-inch variety, but it does come in a 12-inch length, so you could put 1 sheet over the top if you do a lot of large projects like this. I made sure everything was applied, and then I had my little black piece there holding everything down. And once I peeled off the carrier sheet, this one was as simple as applying it, setting it, and then peeling off the transfer tape. Now, while I was doing this, I took a piece of the transfer tape and put it on my Halloween design, just so then that way I could reuse the transfer tape. I get asked a lot if this transfer tape can be reused, and it's not super sticky to begin with, but if you use it right away like I'm doing here, you are able to reuse it. So I just peeled it off and added it to my Halloween design, so then that way I could use it again, because it is a large sheet of transfer tape, and I wanted to make sure it was good to go. Now we got to get this ready to hang. So I am going to take some jute twine. I'm going to do a loop around the end just like this so it will hold, but I can also adjust it. I did it on the other side as well, and then tied the top. The last step is to take some hot glue and figure out right where you're going to put the bottom of your sign. I went ahead and glued it right down so it would stay put, and then I repeated the same thing for my Halloween sign, adding all of the different pieces. So for my fall one, I decided to cut out some different leaf shapes that were super quick and easy. I ended up curling the edges with a pen of my regular cardstock and sticking them to the wall just with a little bit of regular Scotch tape, and that made this look amazing. For the Halloween one, I cut some more bats and I did a cascading look up the wall, and that was easy enough to do as well with those little tape circles. This vignette turned out so good. I love how it looks in my living room, and it is honestly far beyond what I could have thought of. It turned out so good, and no one would think it's just a roll of Dollar Tree craft paper. This one kind of fits with the overall football theme, and this would be if you are in need of a stadium bag. Now, I got tickets to go see Taylor Swift next year in Indianapolis when she's doing the Eras Tour there, so I decided to customize mine for the Eras Tour. I just went onto Google, I downloaded the logo for the tour, and I cut it to the size of my bag. I bought this hard one on Amazon, and it was as simple as adding the vinyl to the front, and it is good to go for my concert. You could do this with any sports logo or any other artist that you're going somewhere where you need a clear bag. And then this comes with a chain, but I decided to customize it with a Swifty bedazzled blinged out guitar strap that I got on Etsy. This is so quick and easy, and it is something that you could definitely do to add personality to any event that you're going to this fall. I think this would be super cute for collegiate tailgates, NFL tailgates, and they also have these sparkly guitar straps in so many different varieties on Etsy and beyond. Overwhelming amount of emails I got asking if I could do Nightmare Before Christmas was insane. So I made myself a Hocus Pocus version, but I've got files for you guys so that you could do a variety of different shirts with this screen printing technique. So I've got 2 different Nightmare Before Christmas ones, as well as a bunch of other options in the folder over on my blog.
So the main difference between adding heat transfer vinyl to a shirt and screen printing is you're going to size it the same way, but you're going to cut it on regular vinyl to apply to your screen, and you're going to mirror the design. I'll show you why in just a second, and I have a full video on how to screen print with this little QR code. You can scan it with your device's camera or head down to the description and it will show you how to do it. But we're going to start by cutting out this Hocus Pocus design mirrored on this just regular scrap vinyl so we can get creating.
Now I'm going to whip through this pretty quick because I've got that whole video showing you how to do it. I break it down and make it a lot slower, and all you have to do is just swap out the design that you're thinking of. So we're going to cut it mirrored, we're going to weed it like a stencil, add some paper transfer tape, and then once you peel off the back, you are going to stick it to that screen, putting your sticky side up. We're going to save any of the parts of the shirt we don't want to get any ink on by putting on some painter's tape. And then I love to use Speedball fabric ink to press it. It is a pretty straightforward process to screen print your own shirts. I also like to do it on things like hand towels, because when you put them in the bathroom and people get them wet or they're rubbing it with their hands, you're not risking the cracking of heat transfer vinyl at all, which is awesome. It is baked into your fabric. Once I do that, I usually let them dry overnight, but you can give it a couple hours, and then you're going to press it for 50 seconds at 320 degrees. This is my HTV Run Auto Press. I absolutely love this thing. I will link it down below. It's a lot cheaper than the Cricut one, and it works really well. I also use it for sublimation. And once that is on there, I just set the shirt. I like to do a Teflon sheet in between the shirt and the top of the press, as well as my little Taylor Swift inspired hand towels. And I will not go back to using heat transfer vinyl on shirts. I will always take the extra time now. I do it if I'm really in a bind, but I love, love, love screen printed shirts, and I cannot wait to wear this season and decorate with my fun little tea towels.
That's going to do it for this round of Cricut DIYs. If you're interested in any of the free cut files I shared today, be sure to either scan this QR code if you are on your TV, or you can head down to the description if you're on any other mobile device. Head over to my blog, click the box that says Whiskey Downloads, enter your email, and then I will have a huge Google folder full of free files for you. Also, be sure to share your finished projects with me. I love to see that. And you can find more information about the Holiday Cricut Craft Fest October 2nd through 6th down below, or scan this QR code code to get that ticket if you're on your TV. A huge thank you to my Whiskey Craft Buddies for being along for the ride this week. And if you have FOMO from not being in the Whiskey Craft Buddies, don't worry. Hit subscribe down below so you won't miss any future content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!